I have in my hand the Stanley dual arm TV wall bracket. It supports TVs from 23-inch up to 55-inch TVs. So basically flat screen TVs, LEDs, or LCD TVs if you had some older ones. And it has a maximum weight of 35 kgs that it can support. It's available with free delivery directly from freetv.ie, and it'll support the VESA standard 100, 200 all the way up to 400 by 400. I'll talk a little bit more about the VESA standard in a while. So with this reason we decided to add on a brand name product like this is simply because the build quality on the Stanley brackets is simply better than anything else we've seen on the market. And the flexibility it has, both in terms of giving full motion rotation, in terms of it comes out sufficiently far to rotate the TV effectively 180 degrees, but also will say it can handle curved TVs, and it just means that it's an ideal high-end product for us to stock. So what the format is, I'll just give an overview of exactly what you're going to get inside the box, give an overview of the assembly and the flexibility also of the TV bracket itself. So this is the outer box it comes in, so it's displaying the Stanley brand name. It has a user manual which is in English. Uniquely among the TVs brackets that we've seen, it actually comes with a template you can hold up against the wall to mark out the holes you're going to drill for mounting the bracket directly onto your masonry wall. So you can look at the screws and plugs here and the washers as well you'd use for that. Covered out a little bit more. When we actually come to mount the TV directly onto it here, we have some tools, an Allen key, a spanner and some screws here. And also we have some spacers which we could use here. We'd use particularly in relation to curved TVs to make sure we have a tight fit directly onto the bracket. And what we have here then is we have a total of 5 different sizes of bolts here, and we'll use them depending on obviously TVs. Smaller TVs normally are held in place with smaller bolts and the larger ones, and it'll be predetermined by the size of the thread that's on the TV itself. So if we actually look at the VESA standard and how it works, what we have here is the flexibility in terms of different size TVs. So if we had, normally what we'd be using here would be a VESA 200 by 200. It would be typical on, let's say, 32-inch TVs. So what would come along here is, if we went centre to centre here, we'd have a distance of 200 millimetres, and from here to here 200 millimetres, and that would be called a VESA 200 standard. Now with much larger TVs you can go all the way out to VESA 400 by 400, and we'll use these arms which we'll display in a few moments to effectively do that for us. If we look at the bracket here itself, one of the things we'll note on it is that it's effectively fully assembled. So it can be pushed in as tight as this to the wall, but if we wanted it, we can pull it out from the wall. I'll just rotate it here, and we can bring it all the way out here, and you can see the distance there. So we could be rotating it from the hinge there, we can rotate it here, or we can be rotating the TV at the hinge here. So this is what's giving such great flexibility in terms of the overall movement of it. Also, we'll say, you can see, I won't show it this side, but what we have there is on this side here, we can adjust the Allen key adjustments here, and we've got flexibility from +5 to -20 degrees. So it gives a lot of flexibility in terms of mounting the TV at exactly the angle that we want. So we can come back along, we'll say, and we can fold this back down here. So we can mount it here, rotate it back up and all the rest of it. Now what if we had a larger TV and we want to come along and get it? Well, we have 4 adjustments here which we can bolt on. So there's 2 types. The diagonals are exact copies and the others are mirror images, okay? So if we come along here and we are trying to mount this on, what we'll be doing is, we've effectively 2 ways you can mount it. So we could be mounting it, we'll say on the first bracket here, and we have it directly out like that, or we could mount it like this as well, okay? These are actually threads inside, and if we actually look at the screws that go into this, the small bolts, they're actually flush, so they'll actually bolt in here and pull right down, give a very smooth finish on it, okay? So they're sunken that way, and you'll do that at the 4 corners. It's pretty straightforward. So the assembly on that part of it is quite straightforward and simple. So overall, we'll say, you can see the general design we have here. Very, very impressive, as you'd expect from a Stanley product. So we were quite lucky to be able to negotiate a relatively exclusive deal in terms of distribution of these, and at a competitive price as well. Now there is a larger unit in this range that goes all the way up to 65 inches. So both of these have proved to be reasonably popular on the high end of the market for us. But if you are going to invest in a TV bracket and you want a really quality one, this really is the way to go. We have a lot of competitive ones and much simpler, lower cost units inside the thing. But everything here, from the general engineering of the ease of assembly and also the aesthetics of it, the fact will say that they've come along and put plastic covers that you can clip down over to hide all the nuts and bolts, etc. One final point here, when we actually go to mount this on the wall, we'll see the nuts and bolts, the holes here exactly match up with the template here, so it just makes the whole mounting extremely straightforward. So that's it anyway, an overview of the Stanley dual arm TV bracket supporting TVs from 23 to 55 inches, available with free delivery directly from freetv.ie.